Gateway question.
All right, good morning.
Good morning.
This is kind of the time where weeks fly by pretty quickly. It seems like it's slow and a lot of days, a lot of work being put in, and all of a sudden, boom, school starts, and that was yesterday. And then today, you just keep itching closer, but it seems like these days stack up faster. So we're getting close, and the guys are certainly getting to that point. I don't want to say we're there yet, but getting to that point where we need to hit someone else, and see where we're at. But we'll start getting into some Western Kentucky here over the weekend, some prep on that. There's been some things here and there that we've done, just putting film in front of them and a couple looks here and there. But this was really where we kind of dial in and focus specifically on them. So putting our depth charts together here over the weekend, got obviously a pretty good idea in all phases where things are going with most of them, but just really dialing in, and those details are the things we're really paying attention to right now. So questions?
Hey, before we get started, the Miami of Ohio coach accused you guys of tampering with the recruitment of Graham Nicholson. Did you have a response to that?
I don't know anything about that, I guess, that comment. He entered the portal and we reached out to him. So that's how it goes, right? So we did everything that we were supposed to.
He's an older player, coach, but what have you learned about Kobe Prentice, wide receiver in that room, kind of a veteran guy?
Yeah, Kobe brings speed. He's got some experience. Just everything that I think can really fit well into the offense. He can play inside and outside, and so that's something that I think we're really trying to really groom all our receivers to do, is be very versatile. And I think that's an area where he's kind of grown his game probably through fall camp. But when he gets in space and someone's one-on-one with him, there's very few people that can keep up. We've seen that this spring, summer, fall camp, just the ability to run. And I think he's really, again, under Coach Shep and being pushed by the rest of the core, really done a good job, really improving his game. So I'm proud of where he's at and the direction he's going.
You mentioned the depth chart. Just what's your philosophy on making that public before week one? I know some coaches have different feelings on that.
Yeah, we'll probably do something where it's public, at some point throughout the week. A lot of it is also just kind of where it's at with our opponent too. That's really you kind of know, especially after week one. The week one game is probably the trickiest, but there's so much information on us that's out there already. I always kind of assume that is known by our opponent. So there'll be some things. I think for the most part, 90% of it is kind of already known. Obviously, the special teams pieces are still out there. The other 10%, or whatever you want to call it, I would say that some of those things are still kind of up in the air and going to be a work in progress and not solidified. If you got a depth chart, there might be some oars in different spots, and that's hopefully understandable.
Kalen, a philosophical question for you. The past couple of years, you guys have gone on fourth down a good bit, and especially in your own territory a few times of that too. What is your mentality or just overall approach? I know each circumstance is different, but what kind of approach do you take to decisions in those moments?
Yeah, this is something that I talk about with the team. We did this before the first scrimmage because we talk about being in those moments and those fourth down situations on both sides of the ball. And just what that means when we are going for it. Because I think it means that you have confidence that you can get it offensively, but it also means that you have confidence in a defense that can go out there and not just collapse if they're put in a tough spot where you come up short on the offensive fourth down conversion. So we specifically talk about that. We get in situations in scrimmages and move the ball situations all camp long, all spring long too, where we are very intentional on understanding when it comes to fourth down, it's just another play, it's another down. Yeah, it's an important one, but we can't just lock up and realize feel like it's do or die, and go out there and just execute the play, just do what we're supposed to. I think when it comes to the decision, I would say that the mindset is we want to be aggressive, but we're not going to be reckless. And that's what I tell the guys, that's what I tell the team. We're going to play a team game, and team game, means that if there's situations we really feel are favorable, situations where we feel like we can get it, or that we really need to based on the flow of the game even, we'll go for it. So Yeah, I think last year there were some right at the end of the season. But if you look at the numbers, it isn't like we're that much more. I'd probably say we're in the middle of the pack roughly on how many times we go for it, other than the championship game when you're forced to go for it. So, I don't think like we're reckless, but we take those right times and try to take advantage of them and go for it.
How would you describe the importance of Courtney Morgan to the staff?
Yeah, he's super critical. He's the guy. I mean, I know it's been said many times, but he's the guy that came down with me. When I got the opportunity to come here, and we just mesh so well. I feel like there's a trust that exists. I mean, there's a trust that I have with all our staff members, but having worked with him now, this be going on year 4 and known him for longer, that I understand what he's all about. Understand, he's relationship driven. That he does a great job of identifying and evaluating. He has a team that he leads. He leads in a way, and I think we've worked together to figure out the leadership and the way we want to operate. He doesn't probably like I would say, I don't micromanage every move and every minute of the day by people, but you really try to provide an environment where your staff, and in his case, his recruiting staff, for the most part, and there's other elements to it too when you're the GM, but there's just a lot of elements that he just oversees, and we've continued to, I think, hire the right people and let them go work. And Courtney, when it comes to the recruiting piece, obviously we've been successful, and he's a major piece of that. And I'm excited for what's to come in the future with him here in this program for sure.
Coach, you guys brought in a lot of help at safety with the portal, with Keon Sapp, Cam Howard, King Mack, those guys. How do you think they've come into the program being from somewhere else and kind of assimilated?
Yeah, they're really important. From a starting position like Keon to just younger guys, and some depends on who you're talking about in different roles that are going to be really important for us in certain packages, not just depth in my mind. And so special teams, these guys have really come in. They're not just great players, but they're people and guys who really have blended in well and became really accepted with our team quickly. And that's a tribute to who they are as people and the work they put in. So I'm really appreciative of how important they've been, and every day, they just feel like they've been here forever and part of this team, just like all these guys have been here 2, 3, 4 years.
Coach, speaking of special teams, Nealon Hibbett, long snapper going into his last season from Alabama. He was a guy that walked on, became one of the best long snappers in the conference. What have you learned about him in your first few months here in Tuscaloosa?
Yeah. So we gave Nealon a scholarship, and I wasn't sure even internally how to handle that, because I didn't know I wanted to surprise him, and we did that. But he's got that. He deserves that. He's rock solid and just a great person. We have senior talks that we do, and he started us off last week and knocked it out of the park. Just you can see the type of leader that he is, and how much the guys trust and believe in him, how much they respect him, and so he's I think the long snapper, right, like many specialists, is a guy that you undervalue. Most people do, until all of a sudden those times come when the lights are bright and that snap's not made, that kick's not made, or it's a punt that didn't end how it was supposed to. So he's just really trustworthy, and he's great to have on this team.
How did it come about having J.J. Watt speak to the team the year y'all play Wisconsin, and just overall kind of what was your philosophy with Camp Speaker as he brought in?
Yeah, I think there were some connections actually with him prior to even me being here, but I wanted to find guys, and we really had less speakers come in, because I wanted it to still be more about probably myself and our staff laying down the culture, and us taking those team meetings and as a first year group together, making it more about us. But it's been a great tradition, and it was exciting to carry on the tradition with J.J. Watt, Chris Paul, and we had a speaker kind of on life in general with Hunter Peakey come in too. But these guys, I think the cool thing with especially J.J. and Chris Paul is that they're still playing, or J.J. just recently retired, but they're still playing, and they are elite. They did it for many years. I thought it was awesome having someone. It seems like you always bring in the offensive guys and the quarterbacks or whoever, and spoke from the defensive side of things. Got a chance to spend some time with the D-line, and they picked up a few tricks too. So it was really cool. He had a great message. Sacrifice, commitment is a common theme, I think, with most of the speakers that came in, and we know that that's what it takes to be great. And they emphasize that.
Hey, Coach, the team did something different this year when deciding their team captains and announcing them preseason before the season started. Can you talk about just what went into that and how each captain is just being an example just for the team, just going into the season, whether it's in the classroom, now school started, just on the practice field, just in the locker room, things like that?
Yeah, I think there's levels to the leadership. We need every guy. I tell them if they have influence on anyone, they're a leader, which is pretty much our whole team. And these guys are the ones that were, for the most part, best of the best whatever high school they're at. So they're used to being leaders. And it doesn't mean that a freshman can't lead. We're gonna have some freshmen out on the football field that got to be great leaders out there this fall. But we have a uni council, which is another level and layer to the leadership. And then the captains. And that's just kind of how it was always felt. There's just this smaller group that you really can go to, that you feel certainly have the ears of the team and can get up in front of them. And I thought our team did a great job picking 4 guys that are going to pour everything into every day. Are going to have great messages, not afraid to get up in the front and say what they feel when it's needed most. But I'm also going to emphasize to our whole team that we have to have a whole team full of leaders, and so we just can't fall on those 4 guys. I'm really careful to make sure I emphasize that, because I don't want just those 4 guys feeling like the whole weight's got to be on them. We need a whole team.
Obviously, scheme's a big part of it, but what would you say about your coaching style lends itself to developing quarterbacks? It seems like you've had a lot of success at that position. Is there an approach you have with them that maybe lends to that?
Yeah, I would say it's an everyday thing. It's an every rep thing. When they come off, you want to be able to go through with them what they were thinking, what they could do better, what their just thought process, execution, all of that. And so there's tools you got to teach them, and I feel like for the most part, what they come in with emotion and things like that, probably 85-90% of that is what you're going to have to work with. So it's not about overhauling a throwing motion or anything like that. It's about really them grasping football, them grasping what it takes to win, teaching them to be great leaders. You're working footwork drills, you're working, accuracy, you're working all those type of things too. But just the mental piece, I think, is so important. And them, feeling comfortable with what you're doing. I don't ever want them running a play where there's a split of, just even a doubt in their mind of anything, whether it's them or that someone else doesn't know what they're doing that's lined up with them on the field. So it's just being in sync with them, and as a quarterback, having that communication, whether it's the coordinator and the quarterback, myself, with both of them, that's just so critical to be aligned and know our response, because the quarterback's going to be seeing his body language, his, what he says. We talk through all that, not just daily, but after almost every, set of plays. We're talking about those things and highlighting it with them, emphasizing with them, and I think just when you keep stacking those moments on top of each other, that's how you develop a great quarterback.
After I think it was 2019 when you first crossed paths with Nick Sheridan at Indiana. What did he show you that year that made you want to bring him with you to Washington and then down here to Tuscaloosa when he was the OC?
There's a lot of things, but I'd say it would be a combination of just a brilliant mind, helping me bring our offense into Indiana that year, and him being able to be that liaison, or just that set of ears that could decipher, evaluate, process with me what was going to be the smoothest way for us to make that happen. He did that also when we went to Washington. Just really having a big picture view, understanding the things that you got to have a successful offense, whether it's week 1 or week 12, whatever time of the season it is. Knowing the tools you need, the concepts, the formations, the wrinkles, seeing defenses, being able to, just mentally be just quick, make decisions. Just a bright coach, and I can see it right away. And then there's the personality side, where he has great relationships with his team, with the team, with the coaches on the staff. He's a team player through and through. But just all of those things, just people you want to align yourself with. So saw that really quickly. I told him over and over, especially when that was 5 years ago. I wasn't at that spot when I was that age, and I told him over and over again. And know he's got a bright future, not just as an offensive coordinator, but as a head coach someday. After 18
Sheridan yesterday talked to us a lot about education and the emphasis you put on it with the team starting classes. And I wondered a couple of other aspects of education. What the challenges are with, say, a kid who reclassifies late or transfers who are coming in from other schools where their credit's going to transfer, that sort of thing.
Yeah, from that standpoint, we can't take those guys until we have approval that everything is in good standing, and so that deals with compliance and be able to get into majors and things like that. But I'm proud of our guys. Academically this spring they had a 3.2 GPA. It's a whole team for the semester, and they had 85 of 123 of our players this spring had over a 3.0, and they're getting degrees. And this summer, it was almost right at that same number with the GPA. That's a time when they know the season's coming. And summer, I've seen some places, so it's a little more low key with the academic focus. These guys are just well-rounded, and that gives you a good sense of the maturity of our team. I thought even a practice, and not jumping off the academic side, but I thought a practice like today where there's a lot of physical but mental, a lot of mental, it shows the maturity of our team. And I don't think we're there yet. I think there's a lot of room for growth and improvement. We got a lot of young guys, a lot of new faces in our program, probably close to 35, 40 new scholarship guys in our team. But our maturity and want to and all that shows in our academics. And I'm super proud of them taking care of that so that there's less distractions to do, so they focus on what they really love to do, and that's play football.
Coach, after 18 practices, what would you say is the biggest area of improvement you've seen over the course of the preseason?
I like how consistent we've become here at the end. I thought, speaking with you also on Saturday, we talked about the physicality of it, flying around. I think we're in a good spot with, fall camp. You always worry about getting the legs back and things like that. I think, there's not a cumulative fatigue that's happened with our team. I think we're getting stronger, and but the consistency, both sides of the ball. Don't feel like there's days where we come out and you just don't know what you're going to get. I think you know what you're going to get for the most part. And some days, depending on the install, it might be better for one side of the ball or the other. But I know I'm going to get great effort, and know they're going to work together. Know that we can change tempos in practice, and they're going to be able to adjust, and they're going to listen. I challenged them in a big way for this session we just had out here. It's something I've seen happen over the years that with a lot of special teams and transitions they can fall apart on you. These guys thrived. Got done about 10 minutes earlier than I even expected. So I love that about them. Again, we got a lot of things that we got to always continue to work on. I tell them that every snap we play, from beginning to end of the season, we're going to get better, and we got to have a 1-0 mindset. You probably heard that from them as well, but a 1-0 mindset, because every snap we're still learning. We're still learning a new system in all areas, and so I'm proud of the way they come to work every day. But that consistency has been something I'm proud of.
Would you ever want to take the team to Ireland or even some other country playing one of these season opener games?
Yeah, I think there's the right time, and when you've been in a program for a while, and